This week on Half Step Down, Renee and I are talking about finals. That stressful time of year for all the students out there, whether you're in high school or college. You know it's a hard time, so we're going to try to get some levity in there. We're going to talk about some of our traditions, some of the things we used to do to prepare. Well, Renee still does them because he's still in college, so some tips for him. We're going to talk about some other stuff, too, like the new Resident Evil that's coming out, the tall vampire lady that's got the internet in a tizzy. We're going to talk about bartenders and their crazy stories. Our friend Logan, wherever you are out there, man, you are one wild cat. But before we get to any of that, let's talk about halfstepdownpod.com. It is your one-stop shop for all things Half Step Down. You can find links to our Instagram and Twitter. We are at halfstepdownpod. I promise we are going to get better about uploading onto our social media. The other thing I want you guys to do is check out the Spotify playlist in the description of this episode. We added a bunch of like lo-fi hip-hop and other things we like to study too. And it's interesting, we're actually going to talk about lo-fi hip-hop on this episode. Normally at songs on here, we don't really talk about them, but on this episode we do. Anyway, sit back, relax, Half Step Down starts now. Take it away, Ray.
That was a great Ghostbusters reference, by the way. Yeah, but the problem is that my name's not Ray.
And I didn't say the right line.
Yeah,
it's not take it away. It's go get him, Ray.
Yeah, go get him, Ray. But even so, my name's not Ray though.
I know.
It's Renee. Yeah, Renee. Renee. One half of the Half Step Down podcast.
That's right.
That's right. And with me, as always, is the. Oh man, I have no thing. I have no. Wow.
It's okay. Take your time.
Welcome everyone to the Half Step Down podcast.
Half Step Down,
where two aging punk rockers, and it looks like I'm going senile. Apparently,
it's all right.
One of us is going senile. Talk about punk rock and pop culture and everything in between. We are your co-hosts, the senile Renee Grano, and the Motor City Machine Gun, Jose Martinez.
I like that one.
Thank you. I stole that. There's an actual tag team called the Motor City Machine Gun.
I like it.
Yes.
I am fans of those guys.
Jose, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
I went, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderfully.
Okay, that's great. Jose, you are back at work.
I'm back at work.
You're back at work.
I'm back at work.
You're back on campus.
I'm back on campus.
I'm getting ready to go back on campus.
That's right.
And what better way to be excited for this momentous occasion that we're finally going to I don't know if pseudo-normality is a word, but I'm using it anyways.
I like it.
If pseudo-normality, it's a somewhat pseudo-normality, then to talk about something that plagues every college student and every high school student.
Right.
And I think the best thing to do, just because I am a little older, I am a little wiser.
Yeah.
I can talk about my thing, I just had a brain fart.
That's okay. It happens.
Wow. We talk about my experiences with finals.
Right.
Your experiences with finals as a teacher, as a younger student.
Right.
I think this is the best time to do it. We're only a couple of weeks away. Some of us are even in the midst of it. Some of us are on their way to finals. So, Jose, this episode is about finals.
Finals. Oh, man. The dread of every student.
Every student, and I would think teachers too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I don't deal with it as much because I run like a support role for my stuff, but it is definitely something that comes up a lot.
Yeah,
and a lot of thought goes into it for sure.
I would imagine so. So one of the things I think is great about this episode today is that we're going to be able, like I said earlier, that we're going to be able to talk about our experiences, and you have past experiences of doing finals.
Yes.
And now me at being a little older, I'm able to talk about my experiences with finals. So why don't we go back and talk about high school finals? Do you remember what it was like to take finals in high school?
You know what? I remember it being a kind of a strange concept to me, just kind of the idea of like, okay, there's this. I always knew that there were tests at the end of whatever you were learning, but I remember just thinking that it's strange that you were like dedicating these times Whereas like, your finals was like a 2-hour block.
Yeah.
And it always like kind of stressed me out a little bit, but I did not take school very seriously.
Same. Yeah.
So I was just never that in. Honestly, my most vivid memory of a final was my woodshop final. And that is because I was in there. The teacher's like, look.
Were you there, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I was in there.
Oh, okay. You were in there, though.
I was in there.
Okay, that's what she said.
And the teacher's like, you cannot leave the room. You got to stay in this room. You're in here for 2 hours. Do not ask me to leave this room. And I had to take a dump so bad that I was just like, I don't know what it was, but I had to go to the bathroom.
think it's just because of the fact that he told you cannot leave.
And it was like.
And your bowel movements are like, well, guess what? Because you told me I can't, I have to go now.
I was looking at piles of sawdust and being like, can I just hide in this part of the room?
Yeah.
And go to the bathroom.
Oh, disgusting.
And I just remember I finally like walked up to him and I said, I know you said we can't go, but can I please go to the bathroom? I have to go. And he just gave me this look of like, just like close his eyes and he's like, just get out of here. Just go to the bathroom and come back.
Yeah.
Now. And I was like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
But that was my most vivid high school memory final.
Finals in high school, I remember it being like an old Western movie. Everything was empty.
Yeah.
There was what are they called?
Tumbleweeds.
Tumbleweeds, thank you.
Yes.
With tumbleweeds just kind of going by, it's just quiet. Because even when you go to the restroom to take a dump or whatever it is that you had to do during classes, in between classes or in the middle of classes, there's always people around.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
At least somebody walking or a teacher or something. But during finals, it was empty.
It's just silence.
It's just silence everywhere. I remember that. My most vivid. I wish people can see us, especially me right now, because I am not the most athletically built person in the world. But my most vivid final.
You're in your bulking stage.
Yes, I haven't leaned out yet.
Right.
Yes, it's not that I haven't. I'm supposed to be 6'9", I think.
You're cultivating mass.
Yes, I haven't grown into my body.
Right.
Doctor said it's supposed to be 7 foot 100. So
you're gonna be like that new Resident Evil lady.
So I was.
You don't know about the new Resident Evil lady?
No.
I
thought that was like a joke, but I guess no. Oh, that's a real thing. Okay, so, sorry.
Quick side note. So this is. There's a Resident Evil 8 is coming out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the movie.
No. The
new video game.
New video game.
Okay. Didn't 7 just come out?
7 came out 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And this one's called Village.
Oh, Village.
It takes place in some like European village, obviously, like a castle. But the internet has gone ape shit because the main villain, like so far, is this 9 foot tall vampire lady.
Oh, yeah. So I am gonna be like her.
So you're gonna be like her, except like dudes are just they're just simping out on this stupid vampire. But anyway, continue.
Are you gonna get Resident Evil 8?
Dude, Resident Evil is one of my favorite series. And 7 I liked a lot, so I'm gonna probably get 8.
4 was the best.
4 was next level shit.
Yeah. 4 was a 2.
1 and 2 were like my favorites.
Yeah.
But 4 was next level shit.
Yeah. 5 was good too, though. I enjoyed 5. The co-op story was pretty great.
5 was cool. I never played 6 because I heard it was bad.
Yeah, neither did I.
But then 7 was legit, and now I cannot wait for 8.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
So my most vivid memory of finals in high school was PE, physical education.
Oh, yes.
Because it was like, hey, we're going to do this fucking triathlon of events, and you got to be under this time because then you're going to fail.
Right.
And I don't ever remember failing PE, and I never did it under. In like Superbad, I don't know if it's the unrated version or the theatrical version where Jonah Hill's character is running on the track. And he's like running halfway through, goes, this is bullshit. Like, this is fucking bullshit. And the dude behind him, I think he has one leg, right? He's running with like a metal leg. And he's like, pussy. And he like runs away. That was me. I was like, this is bullshit. Like, this is bullshit. Like, why am I running? Why am I sprinting to get under a mile under 10? Look at me like, this isn't fair. You know, sort of thing. And then after that, you got to do hurdles. I remember what it was. And I remember PE is just it's just for all the coaches just to get a paycheck. It's like, all right, that's cool. But that was my vivid memory of that's the only final I remember. I don't remember really studying for finals in high school.
You know what?
But I wasn't that good of a student either.
I do remember one other final. Excuse me. I took senior year Bible as lit because they moved me out of another English class. I was just not gelling with this teacher. So I moved out, and they put me in Bible as lit. They had already moved past the Bible stuff, and we're just doing what you have to teach seniors.
Oh, okay.
But their final was like a personal essay about like a personal experience. And I did not think that everyone would take it as seriously as they did, but they did, and you had to read it aloud. And that was a really cool experience because you got to see like people talking about family members who had died and shit. So that was another really cool experience.
And what was yours? Do you remember?
Mine was about my dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And like dealing with that, growing up with that. Yeah.
I remember that. I remember just, again, those finals in high school, I don't remember much of them. Like I said, just the PE one, I just kind of remember. But the ones that I always remember, even, because I'm in college for the second time, right? Because the first time I went, and I even remember studying for those finals, and those were a pain in the ass.
Yeah, man. I mean, college finals are a whole nother level, man. Yeah. It's a different thing. I had my rituals, man. I did my stuff, dude. It was I had my system, and by the time because I did 3 stints at college, right? I did my first one where I was maybe going to do music as a major. I did my second one where I was just kind of like trying to finish G's, and then my third where I finally kind of made it all the way through.
Yeah.
But I remember like study groups, trying to find people to study with. I remember very vividly for a speech final on my first attempt at college. We all, like my high school friends, we all took the same speech class. This guy was he was fucking hilarious, this dude. I forgot his name. But I'll never forget because originally I wanted to be in radio. And I'm like, I want to be a disc jockey. And one of the speeches he had to do in front of everyone was a job interview. And he's like, I did okay on the thing, but he's like, why do you want to be a disc jockey? I just think it'd be funny. He goes, that job sucks. You don't want to do that. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, look, dude, you're going to get on first of all, you're not going to get a job in LA. Not starting out. You're going to need to move to the middle of the country, and you're not going to get like a good time. You're going to get like midnight to 5. So you can do that for years. And you're going to get fired, and you're going to travel from town to town to town to town. And then maybe in 15 years, you can come back to LA. It's like, that job sucks. Don't do it. He's like, plus, no one's going to listen on radio in like 20 years. And I was like, damn, man. Like, it was harsh.
Yeah.
But you know what?
He got you.
He got me, dude. And I'm like, dude. And now
that's true.
But now I'm on a podcast.
And now you're on a podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, you kind of met your goal. You know what I mean?
In a weird way.
In a weird way, yeah. And in all honesty, what better way to show who you are than a podcast?
No other way.
No other way.
No other way.
Right? Because you can't say shit, balls, fuck, hernia.
I think you can say hernia on the radio.
Orgasm.
I think you can say orgasm as well.
Ball hair.
That I don't know.
You know what I mean? Or to quote Coming to America, hippopotamus shit. You can't say that on the radio.
Can't say that on the radio.
You can't say that on the Half Set Down podcast.
That you can. We just did.
99.9% of the time, I think we're pretty clean.
99.999.
Yeah. Are you out of your mind?
Wait, what?
Because you said 99.9.
99.999.
Are you out of never? Okay. Well, anyway. Jose, what are some of the rituals that you used to do for your finals?
Okay, so for me, my big thing was, depending on what it was, if I had to study, I, up until this year, could not work at home. I could not do it. If I were at home and I started doing whatever studying or working on paperwork, I would get too easily distracted. Obviously, COVID changed that. I had to work from home, but up until what I would do is if I had to study, if I had something I had to do, I'd go to Denny's. I would go to Denny's. I would order coffee and maybe toast. And I would just sit there until I was done with whatever I had to do. And my thought process was, I don't want to be at a fucking Denny's at 1:30 in the morning on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Hurry up and finish your shit so you can go home.
Yeah.
And that was always what I did. And I remember there was this one waiter at the Denny's. There's a windmill Denny's in Arcadia. We call it the windmill because there's a big windmill on it, obviously. But he would walk by my table like every couple minutes. I would always explain to the waiter, I'm not going to eat much. I need to study. Just bring me coffee. And the second my coffee would get down, he would like walk up and be like, I got you some more rocket fuel. And he would like fill my cup.
Yeah.
And then he would walk away. And he said that every time. It wasn't always that he like rocket fuel for you. And then I'd come back. Oh, you need some more rocket fuel? There you go, man.
Rocket fuel.
He called it rocket fuel.
Interesting.
So, and then that was at least when I was like at Cal State LA, that was my ritual. I would go there and study.
What was was he a better waiter or was, I already forgot
Don't mention his name.
What was his name?
If you say his name 3 times, he's going to show up. Talking about Logan. Bro.
Logan. Thank you. I love Logan. He was the best.
Dude, yeah.
Logan was great.
He was a special character, man.
He was a special character.
I picture him like Kane in Kung Fu right now, just wandering the earth.
Yeah.
Just seeing what kind of trouble. Do you think, dude, we need to go back once, I know
he's not there. I know he's not there anymore.
Oh, he's not?
No, not at the TGIF Fridays.
Do you know where he is now?
No, I have no clue. I have no clue. I have like 3 phone numbers of his, and none of them work, I don't think. So I haven't
always
heard
a
from
good sign.
I have not heard from the guy, but we do have some great. Can we get into some Logan stories?
We can do a little Logan stories.
Let's do a little Logan stories, right? So do you remember the first time you met Logan? Because I had known Logan beforehand, but I think were you with me when we would ask for like a table for Logan and he'd come and run up and hug me? Like he would jump on me.
The first time you introduced me to this guy, I don't remember what we were doing.
Yeah.
But you're like, let's go get a beer at TGI Fridays.
Because they have the greatest happy hour there.
Because they have great happy hour and they got like snacks and stuff. And he's like, and you told me I know one of the waiters.
Yeah.
And I instantly knew, okay, this guy's a special guy because there's something about when you first meet somebody.
Yeah.
There's this ratio of the amount of time it takes from them first meeting you to talking about a chick he banged. Yeah. That if that's a very short amount of time, you know you're in for a character.
And I think I said, Logan, tell my cousin here about that chick in Vegas. And that's all I needed to say.
And like there was no modesty. There was just like he kind of did that like laugh and that little like kind of like nose like thing where it's like, oh man. And then he went into his character.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, this guy's this. And what I love about it is then it became unsolicited.
Yeah.
So he would come to the table and just tell you, he would like bring the food and be like, and then I got to tell you about this Puerto Rican broad. And then it's like, oh.
Yeah, he was great.
And it didn't matter if we were in the middle of a conversation. No. He would just stop in, sit down, tell us his story, and then walk away.
He would sit down with us.
Yeah.
He loved our group. He was a great dude. So I got a good one for you. So one time we were sitting here, we had gone to Fridays, and he had told me, I go, hey, he used to call me, so a lot of my friends call me Nay. My nephews and my niece and stuff, they all call me Nay because my oldest nephew, he was never able to say Renee, so he would call me Tio Nay, right? So that always stuck with me. And so a lot of my close friends and stuff, some of them, especially when you get some liquor in you, they'll probably end up calling me Nay.
Right.
And he would call me Nay. He goes, what's up, Nay? I was like, what's cracking, man? And I go, hey. We're going back to the house, bro. We're gonna be we're here at our Half Step Down studio at the studio headquarters. Before it was the Half Step Down studio headquarters, we would hang out here, and it was my old roommate, a coworker of his, an ex-girlfriend of his.
Okay.
My we went out there to celebrate to say bye to one of my close friends at the time. She was a coworker of mine.
Okay.
And then, so it was about 5 of us, right? And I told him, come down. We're going to hang out, have a couple. He goes, all right, I'll be there in about 20, 30 minutes. All right, let me close up. Cool. So he calls me, hey, Nate, he goes, do you mind if I invite a lady friend? I said, be my guest, bro. You're more than welcome to. So we're chilling. He comes up, he's sitting down. First I go get him outside. He's smoking a Black and Mild.
Okay. Like you do.
While he's walking over to me, and he hugs me again. I was like, come on in, bro. So he puts it out. He sits down at the edge of the table. He's having a beer. He's babying a beer. And he pulls out his tips, and he's counting his tips. And I always remember the Home Alone 2 where Rob Schneider's character is counting his tips.
Right.
And Tim Curry goes, don't count your tips in public. Oh, sorry. And he puts them
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
That's kind of like a whole, like a Logan thing. And he goes and gets the girl that, the girl that he invited over. And it turns out that it's my roommate's girlfriend's friend.
Oh, okay.
And she walks in, and I know her as well.
Yeah.
And she walks in, and we're just like, oh, what's up? And she had like this look on her face. She was so red, the poor thing.
Oh,
we felt so bad. We're like, oh, dude, you're banging our friend Logan. Like, oh, that's so cool. That was so random. But one of the things that we need to talk about Logan is that when you met him, it was, even when I knew him, because I hadn't partied with him yet, was the fact that it was very hard to believe him.
It was very difficult.
Yes. And I called you one day and I said, I believe him now.
I think you did tell me that.
He calls me one day and he goes, Nay, where are you? I go, I'm on my way home from work. He goes, come to Hooters. I'm having a beer. I'm talking to this waitress. I'm trying to hang out with her. I go, dude, I'd love to, but in all honesty, I don't get paid till Friday or Thursday night. It was like a Tuesday. And he goes, I got you. And I said, okay, so I'll go have a beer, right? I'm not the kind of guy that likes to, push on people and stuff like that. So I said, I'll have a beer. So I sat with him and I had a beer. And he goes, all right, dude, we're leaving. We're going to go to another bar. I said, okay. He goes, she's going to go with us. The beers had to have been like, what, $12? He drops a hundo and he tells the girl, keep the change. And I'm like, oh, this dude, like, wow, this guy just dropped $100 on this girl. Right. And we're waiting for, I guess she was getting off of work, so we were waiting for her. And then he goes, take my car. I'll take yours, because she wants to go home and get dressed, and I'll meet you at the bar. So we get into some random girl's car, and he lets her take his car. It's a Mustang. Takes it. And we're in this random car, and I'm like, dude, why are we in this car? He goes, let me tell you something, Renee. Whenever you want a girl to meet you at a bar, take her car. She has to come back and get it. And I was like, you're a genius.
Okay.
You're a genius. So if you think about it, something like that is so simple. But we never thought about doing something like that.
I would, to this day, I would not do that.
Take my car and I'll take yours. I've never met, or whatever. Maybe he has known or whatever. But she showed up, right? Yeah. And he easily racked up about $700 in booze.
Jesus
Christ. And he paid for the whole thing.
Oh my God.
The next morning, so this is where it gets kind of weird, because he calls me the next day. He goes, "What happened last night?" I go, "Well, dude, we partied." And he goes, "Bro, I already lied. I woke up with 2 half-smoking blunts on my nightstand, lipstick on my hot tub, Taco Bell wrappers, but Del Taco hot sauce." This is what he told me. But I think the best part of it is that I believe him, because I saw the game.
So one of the things that made it really hard to believe this guy was the idea that he would talk about how he was going to buy a house with his tips.
Yes.
And how he once went to Vegas and did he say he made
pulled out like $5,000,
$5,000 to like lay down on a bed of money or something?
Yeah,
it was just so over the top that
they would wash their hands with Belvedere.
Yes, just all sorts of just
that
ridiculous.
Just feels sticky. Yeah,
he reminded me of a guy I used to work with who I remember we'd go to happy hours and he would go to the bartender and he would order the adios, which is like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But he would order the adios, take a sip, go to the bartender and be like, "There's not enough alcohol in this." And I'm like, dude, what kind of no-class dude are you?
Yeah.
That you're going to go up to the bartender and ask for more alcohol. And he would go like, "I'm not paying for this." But I guess Logan is not that guy.
No, Logan is not that guy. He was an awesome guy. He used to put people on blast when we were sitting there. He used to go and take, like, when we were hanging out with some girls or something, he'd bring over like baby, like kids meal cups. And here, just in case if you want to baby it, you want to take it home. I was like, damn, like just call people out, but all fun and games, you know what I mean? But he was always a cool dude. Always a cool dude. If you're listening, Logan, I miss you, man. I haven't talked to you in quite some time. Please tell us wherever you're working so we can go hang out with you and say hi. As long as it's an outside area, please.
All right. We're still not out of this.
We're still not out of this. Yes, correct. So one of the things that I do now, because like I've said before, I'm a student at Cal State Fullerton right now.
We're back to finals.
Go Titans! Yes. Is I like to stay home and listen to lo-fi hip hop.
Lo-fi hip hop.
Lo-fi hip hop.
It's become a big deal for me.
Very big deal.
Yeah.
But lo-fi hip hop is even on a car ride, just when I want to relax. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I've noticed that there's a lot more lo-fi hip hop playing in my background, and most of the time I have no idea who it is. I just play it. I just tell my Alexa or my Google, just play me some lo-fi. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that definitely keeps you in the zone.
Yeah, it you know what? There's we'll get to it later, but there are pros and cons to that. I know my good buddy Dave, who listens to the show, he was telling me how he found an article about how
I miss you, Dave.
Yeah, I think we all do.
Yeah.
Sorry, that took me for a loop. I'm like, oh, you're thinking of Davey.
Oh, wrong Dave.
Wrong Dave.
Oh.
Hopefully Davey listens to the podcast.
I
miss you too, dude. Davey, God bless him. He sent me. He's working at a coffee shop now. He sent me a bag of coffee, like in the mail.
Nice.
Like it wasn't ground. Dude, he's the most thoughtful dude.
Oh yeah, yeah. Davey is one of. Do you have friends where normally, like, if I were to, when I say hi to you, right, I'll like, we'll give each other a high five or something, and we'll hug each other, right? We'll come in for like the one arm hug, like the dude hug, the bro hug or whatever.
Davey doesn't do that.
Davey hugs you.
Davey hugs
because he means it.
Yeah.
I have 2 or 3 friends that do that, and every time they do that, I don't mind it, but it always throws me off. It always throws me off because I'm so used to doing the, hey, what's up? Give me your hand, and then we'll do like a bump or a homie hug or whatever it is. But Davey always means it.
Davey always means it.
I love you, Davey.
So where are we at? And so I was saying, he sent me this article about how I think he was at like the New Yorker, about how this is basically just music to write spreadsheets to. It's just like it's like thoughtless.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it is. Like,
yeah.
But it's almost like what I need, because I don't know about you, but even like something that you could consider music that's not as involved, like jazz.
Yeah.
I would rather, because obviously the one criticism of lo-fi hip hop is that it's got to be the easiest music in the world to write, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, you find 4 or 5 cool sounding chords. Mm-hmm. You put a beat, maybe a bass line.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe someone whispers something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very rare. Or like an audio clip.
We should create an alternate podcast where it's a Half Step Down podcast as ASMR.
Yeah, we should. I think that's a good idea. That's
just do this at all times.
Oh, that's creepy.
Welcome to the Half Step Down podcast.
I liked whispering into microphones. I like that sound, and I like breathing. I just did there's a little breakdown in Depeche Mode's Personal Jesus.
Yeah.
That goes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
would rather do the.
That's some
my
corn
impression
right
of Jonathan Davis.
It was very good. It was
Thank
very
you.
good.
I can't do it.
No, you can't.
Yeah, talk about a band that was gone through a lot.
You know what? They have been through a lot.
Yeah.
And talk about, dude, a band that I'm not. You can't study to corn.
No. That's true. Yeah. As I get older, the logo bothers me because the R is backwards. I'm like, dude, fix the R.
Well, that's their whole thing, man. They don't play by your rules.
That's true.
They don't play by your grammar rules.
Yeah, I guess not.
Jonathan Davis doesn't even sing. He just growls half the time, and that's okay. It's okay for him.
Yeah. Can you imagine Jonathan Davis and the late great DMX doing a collab? That would have been amazing. I can't believe they never did that.
You know what? In some alternate universe, those two are doing that.
Are the best of friends.
They're the best friends.
Yeah. God, DMX, man, that guy.
Yeah, R.I.P. DMX.
Yeah, that dude was. His first 2 records went platinum in like weeks. Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, and then the one before that, I forgot the name of that one, but those 2 albums went platinum in weeks. Like, it's it's unbelievable, that talent of that guy, man. It just, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was awesome.
It was good, man.
Yeah, good stuff.
So what were we talking about? Lo-fi.
Right. Yeah.
So
Lo-fi and finals. We're still on finals, everybody.
So there's a video talking about how I got to watch it on YouTube about how, like, the way it's built, like the way that the tempo it's at, it's almost perfectly made for your mind to just focus.
It's like a mind tap.
Yeah, it's like a weird thing, and it has definitely become, like, when I'm working on paperwork and stuff, it's become a really, like, integral part of that.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to, like, recognize the artists, even though, like, or like I'm starting to follow certain artists, even though I'm gonna be honest, like, a lot of it just sounds the same.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of like the idea of producers in hip hop.
Right.
Like Atmosphere and producers that you know what they do based on what you're listening to. Right? It's just like anything, right? Like country and pop punk and punk, like all that stuff. I'm sure to other people, when they listen to when I play the Wonder Years or the Story So Far or whatever, or Fireworks, whatever it is on the radio, when I'm listening, if I'm in the car with them, it's like, this all sounds the same. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's different, you have to be intricate when it comes to styles of music that you enjoy.
Yeah.
And
like, in looking through this, it really is, because you'll notice this if you are one of the many who does the lo-fi thing on, like, YouTube. You'll notice that there's so many of the lo-fi stations are named something like 3 a.m. Air, or like Midnight Ramen Shop, or something like that. That's like supposed to instill nostalgia, but not really provide it. And it's talking about how the lo-fi subconscious, like the predictable beats, kind of put your brain at ease as if it's been there before. So, and this is another thing that, like, it's basically music by the algorithm, right? Like it's like decoding your brain. So in a weird way, that's kind of dangerous, but like it's weird, right? Like, that's just what we're doing. But it's a great way to keep yourself. It keeps me awake.
Yeah, to keep you awake,
focused.
Absolutely.
But it's just like anything. Like it's like hacking your brain. It's crazy.
Yeah. One of the things that I've noticed when I do finals is I have to have everything off. I cannot, especially now, because again, this is different for everyone, right? Everybody's different, but for me, again, because I'm visually impaired, I can't ignore things by staring at something else. So let's just say we're in the middle of you're having conversations. Wow, you're having a conversation with someone else, and while you're speaking, I'm gonna be on my cell phone looking at what on Twitter or looking at latest news and stuff. Right? It's harder. It takes me a little while longer to focus on things.
Okay.
So I pick things up. I hear everything. I hear everything. I feel everything. All of that stuff. So I need silence. Because every little thing will distract me. And I was never like that, up until 6 years ago when this happened to me. And I think to myself, I had to learn that a couple of years back when I started school again. But now that I'm at Fullerton, I think I'm starting to figure out my trends and manage my time better. Because what can take you an hour will take me 2 hours.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
Right? So I have to focus. And as you know, like we've spoken before, like I've asked you for help with things. It does take me a little while longer to get things done.
Right.
But it's always going to get done. It just takes a little longer, and sometimes it's a little different to do it. But lo-fi really helps me focus. Yeah. Because I can hear, I always joke around with friends. I always tell them, yeah, dude, I have supersonic hearing now. Like I can hear a piece of feather hit a piece of felt, and I can tell you that that's 100 yards away, by just messing and stuff. But sometimes I feel like I can't. Like I have a cousin who had just asked me, he goes, Renee, because of your disability, do you think like your other senses have been heightened? I go, well, I guess they have been, but I'd like to say that not necessarily heightened, but I just use them more. But I don't know if that's another way of just saying, yeah, they have heightened, but just because I can't see, as I can't see now, I have to force myself to use everything else.
Right.
So I don't know if I consider that being heightened, right? I have to use other forms of senses for me to figure things out. So so that's why one of those, again, everybody's different, right?
Yeah.
So for me, that's how I focus is lo-fi.
No. And I think I think that's why you do it, right? Like it helps you because honestly, before lo-fi, I used to listen to game soundtracks.
Yeah.
I love.
I don't think I've ever thought about doing that.
So, and they're very specific. So it was like old school like JRPG soundtracks.
Yeah.
But one of the big ones is like obviously I think I've talked about Final Fantasy, like Nobuo Uematsu like as a composer, but almost all of the Final Fantasy games have soundtracks that are piano only. So basically, there's the original soundtrack that's got the sound from the game. There will be like orchestrated versions, and then there's just piano only.
Yep.
And I used to just I'd put those on in the background.
I've only met one other person that has agreed with me by saying that Final Fantasy VIII is the best Final Fantasy. But here's the thing. I know that 7 is the most critically acclaimed, but I think it depends on when you start. Because if you remember, again, Jose and I are 4 years apart, so
right.
There's as you get older, the age doesn't make as big as a difference. But when you're younger, it makes a huge difference, right? So for my birthday one year, Jose, you got me Final Fantasy VIII for my birthday. And that was the first one I ever played. And I remember you used to tell me how you never liked that game.
Right.
And I was like, dude, this is my favorite. I love it. And that's the first one you got. And I think you told me the reason you bought it was because it came with a copy of... No, I'm sorry. The reason you bought Brave Fencer Musashi was because it came with the Final Fantasy VIII demo. And you loaned me that demo. That's how it went. You loaned me the 8 demo, and I ended up going to go buy Final Fantasy VIII. That's how it happened.
I bought you Final Fantasy VII for your birthday.
The following year.
Yeah.
For my birthday.
Yeah.
And I remember playing it, and it was a good game, and I see why people love it. It just wasn't my favorite because that wasn't my first. Do you think that's
maybe
that happens often?
I think that happens for certain things, but with Final Fantasy, I think the two that get the most credit are 6 and 7.
Yeah.
And I think if you grew up in that 16-bit era where it was the Super Nintendo Final Fantasies, right?
Yeah.
So
I did.
In America, you got Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, which was not. I think it was I actually think that was the Secret of Mana game. There was Final Fantasy 2 that came out in the States, but that's Final Fantasy 4.
That's 4. Yeah.
And then Final Fantasy 6 was 3 here in the States.
Was 3 on Super Nintendo. On Super Nintendo.
And I remember 6 to this day is probably the best one for me.
Yeah.
Because it was basically you were pushing Super Nintendo basically as hard as it could go.
Yeah.
And I think the reason 7 was so special, at least for me, was it was the first next gen one.
Yeah.
So it was the first one with full motion video.
Yeah.
It was the first one with like an orchestral soundtrack that sounded like an orchestra.
Yeah.
And it basically kind of shifted that company in a different direction. Because before that, they were Nintendo only.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal when they moved over to PlayStation.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I see where you're going. I think if you had started with 8, because the graphical difference between 7 and 8 is
huge.
It's a huge difference.
It's at the time was cinematically beautiful.
Yeah, I mean the cinematics if you watch the opening cutscene to Final Fantasy 7. And then the opening cutscene to Final Fantasy VIII, you're like, these must be on different consoles.
Yeah.
Because 7 was like bare bones, and then they really got good at it.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, Square Enix is known for like some of the most elaborate cutscenes. They're just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's me. And it's funny because am I wrong, or is Square the same company that created Metal Gear Solid? No, Konami.
Konami
right?
did,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yeah, because when it's all three of those. Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, and Metal Gear Solid were all on the same platform
Yeah, yeah.
and all totally different when it comes to cinematics.
Yeah.
Right? Do you remember how when Solid Snake would talk, he wouldn't even move his mouth?
Yeah.
Right? Like things like that. Yeah, I remember all that.
You know what? Okay, so this is kind of on a tangent, but I just read this.
I think I have my belt on too tight.
Oh, damn, that
Yeah,
sucks.
that's uncomfortable.
So, the Metal Gear Solid was Hideo Kojima, right?
Yes.
He's a dude.
She's a dude. Because we're all dudes.
Where are we going with that?
That was a good burger. Good
Is that
burger
good?
song.
Oh, okay.
I'm a dude. She's a dude. He's a dude. Because we're all dudes.
I'm the dude playing the dude who's disguised as another dude.
I need more allowance.
Oh, man. Where are we going with this?
Sorry.
Okay, so anyway.
It's late.
So, yeah, it's very late. So if you remember the first Metal Gear Solid,
Yeah.
when you would fight that, he was like a mind. You have to unplug your controller and plug it into.
Yes.
So, and that was like classic Hideo Kojima.
Yeah.
So he was going to be in charge of Silent Hill for a while, right?
Yes.
And they released PT, which was this. I think it was called. I forgot what it stood for, but it was basically like it was going to be a Silent Hills tech demo.
Wasn't
Did you
it
ever hear about
Parasite Eve?
No.
That's something else.
Parasite Eve was something else. Underrated game. Great game. But PT was a demo for Silent Hills. And it got canceled.
Okay.
It was going to be Hideo Kojima taking over Silent Hill.
Okay. So it was a new Silent Hill.
It was going to be. It was almost like a reboot.
Okay.
And it was going to star Norman Reedus.
Okay.
But it never came to fruition. And people have been playing PT over and over again because there's all sorts of hidden shit. But apparently, it just came out a couple weeks ago that there was this leak about some of the shit they had planned, and some of the shit was like you could put your phone number into the game, and it would upload it to the server. So when you got to a certain part of the game, to make it more immersive, like the ghosts would call your phone.
What the heck?
And it was like, fuck, dude. Like I can't. I hope somewhere, Konami and this dude get back together and they just release that game because that shit would be fucking insane.
I remember Silent Hill was so hard to play.
Dude, Silent Hill terrified me.
Yeah, that game was more terrifying than Resident Evil was, in all
Dude,
honesty.
I think it was. I think Silent Hill 2 was next level fucking it was terrifying.
That shit was that was like Evil Dead terrifying, in my opinion.
You thought the Evil Dead was terrifying?
The original?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm still terrified.
Of Evil Dead.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, we got to rewatch it.
Oh, dude, I love Evil Dead 2 kicks ass.
Yeah.
Evil Dead 2 is
amazing.
A sequel is one of those movies where we can talk about like as a sequel, it's just a better movie. But the original, even the remake freaked me out.
I thought the remake did a good job.
Yeah,
though.
it did a really good job.
Yeah,
you know what did a good job? Child's Play. Have you seen the remake?
You know what? I have. And it's not bad.
It's not.
It's
right?
not bad.
Yes.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yes, it was very good.
It's funny you mentioned Child's Play because for whatever reason I have a soft spot for Child's Play 3.
Is that the one where he's in the army?
Where he's in the military school.
In the military, yeah.
And I don't know why I like that movie so much, but I was watching it last night while I was doing laundry.
Really?
It's on Netflix. And
I was
is
like,
it?
All of them or just the
I just saw Child's Play 3 and I'm like, yep.
Ah.
This is what I'm going to be watching.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen all of them? Because you have Child's Play 1, 2, and 3.
I've seen 1, 2, and 3.
Then you have Bride of Chucky.
I haven't seen that one.
Seed of Chucky.
I have not seen that one.
And then you had the one after that, the WWE production one, which was called... Can we look that up? I forgot the name of that movie. And then you had the new Child's Play.
Yeah, the new Child's Play, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
I'm like, this is better than I thought it was going to be.
It was really good. I think the premise just fits with... It fits with what, because it could happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the whole artificial intelligence thing and that could happen. You can piss someone off on the manufacturing line and, well, fine, I'm fucking this one up.
So you had Child's Play 3, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky.
Cult of Chucky.
Cult of Chucky came out in 2017, and then you have the new Child's Play, which is
okay. Which it's Seed of Chucky and what else?
It's Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky, and then the 2019.
The Cult of Chucky is the WWE production one, right? I believe
think so.
Okay.
Let me look it up.
I think that one's it.
Cult of Chucky.
This is great podcasting.
Universal Home Entertainment.
Oh, okay, then might not be. Not 100% sure. Excuse me.
Amazing podcasting.
Yes, amazing podcasting, guys. Sorry. So let's bring it back to the.
Let's bring it back to studying.
Bring it back to studying. Let's bring it back to studying.
You know what? These tangents might be a reason why we did not do so well in school the first couple times, but that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay. We've made it through.
We have. Well, I'm almost there.
Yeah.
Almost there. Yeah.
Almost
there. I'm giving it 110%.
110%.
But I feel this semester I've just kind of lacked motivation.
You know what, dude? Learning through Zoom is not it, man.
Yeah.
It sucks, and I constantly feel like I'm not motivated.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with just, and you and I have experienced this, right? That delay when you're on a Zoom call,
yeah,
really throws off any kind of timing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even on the podcast, the podcast on Zoom, I was in a class on Thursday, and the professor asked a question. There's 17 people trying to answer it because of the delay. Right?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like for me, like we get so little response from our kids, and it's because like, dude, like you're just staring at black screens. Like, it's just it's hard, man. So I wouldn't. Finding motivation is one of the hardest things, and especially in this day and age, like in the Zoom era of the pandemic, I applaud anyone that's trying to get through school right now.
Yeah, it's difficult, but everyone's we got. I think right now is the best time to do it because there's nothing else to do. Right. I mean, if you're gonna stay home and you have the recommendation of staying home, you might as try to do
something.
Yeah, try to do something. Yeah, absolutely. But one of the things I think, what do you do, Jose, to tell your kids to just mellow out? Because when it comes to because I know stress factors go through the roof. That's one of the reasons, as the audience knows, I had COVID and it got me pretty bad, and I was going to be a full-time student. I was going to take 15 units this semester, but I decided to drop 3 and just take 2 classes. Because I wanted to work on my health, which, to quick update, it's working. I'm feeling better. I'm feel good. I went to the doctor yesterday actually, and everything seems to be good, which is great.
Right.
Awesome news. I was able to get through it. But I know myself. And I know when midterms hit and when finals hit, I'm a wreck, especially now. I was never like this before. But again, because of my disability, I think it's a little harder for me. Again, everybody's different.
Right.
But I stress out. It's very difficult for me right now to study, especially for big time things like that, So what's your recommendation to your students now to let them know, like, hey guys, I know these are important, but you do need your rest. You do need to eat well. You need to get some good sleep. Kind of get your mind off it. Eat your Wheaties. Take your vitamins.
You know what? I just
that was a Hulk Hogan reference, by the way.
I mean, I just tell them the reality is like, look, cramming is not the way. It's it's not as helpful.
Yeah.
And honestly, I just
like
tell
the
them,
overnight cram sessions.
Yeah,
right?
that was never. You're supposed to do it like a week ahead of time, right? Like you study for a little bit.
Yeah.
I would listen to the stuff on tape. Honestly, though, I try my best just to tell kids, like, look, just do what you can. Don't stress about it. Especially in high school. It's like, if you bomb a test, you bomb a test.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
In college, it's a little bit different. The stakes are a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of this thing where you gotta just focus and remember that, like, it's not the end of the world to fail an exam.
Mm-hmm.
And chances are, if you just trust yourself and you do the work, you'll do fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's designed for you to, but that's a hard thing to teach kids.
Yeah.
Especially, and that's like a bigger conversation of like, should we make final exams look the way they do? Should it be something else, like a project? Can you measure someone's learning in a different way?
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of people that are just not good test takers. And testing is not indicative of what the real world looks like, right?
Yeah,
You don't
agreed.
get tested
Yeah.
in your job.
Yeah, and I think one of the positives about us going to school later in life is that we had that experience, right? I think some of the students, especially right out of college, right out of high school, going into college, I think they don't understand. I might be wrong. Who knows, right? But I'm not as stressed when it comes to test taking as I did. Well, I guess I'm being contradictory here, but I wasn't before as I was now. Like I know the semester is pretty smooth.
Yeah.
But I guess I stress out because of my personal my personal issues that I'm going through, right? Physically is what stresses me out. Maybe I shouldn't say that final stress me out, but more the end goal of how do I get to where I need to get without it taking 17 hours for me to do it. I think that's me, right? But I think like I said, as you and I being older and going to school a little later in our lives, I've never been as stressed about taking my tests as I would have probably at an earlier age.
Yeah, I mean, I think my issue was I just never took it seriously, and I was always just kind of like, oh, whatever. If I fail, I fail.
Yeah.
And then in college, I just really tried to buckle down, and if I knew a test was coming up, I would try to just study like ahead of time.
Sure. Time management is very important.
And then finding those systems that works for you, right? Like I would say everything into a tape recorder and then listen to it over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's crazy, man. Everyone's brain works different.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think we're gonna head over to the next to our next segment. But before we do, I just want to tell all the students who are listening to this wonderful podcast, stay calm and study and manage your time, and I think everybody will be okay, right? You're
going to be fine. Yeah. And don't do what I did is just start watching Game of Thrones in the middle of your finals.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, that's all bad.
Yeah, that's bad times.
And always know that after you're done, you're done. Yeah. And it feels good when you're done.
Exactly. It does.
Right?
It does.
There's always light at the end of the tunnel. You'll always feel good about it. Yeah. So let's head over to our next... I just had another brain fart.
Just take your time.
It is getting late.
It is.
It is getting kind of late. Let's have it. Well, let's try that again.
Take 3.
Half step down. Second portion of the show. Take 3.
Take 3.
And
do it.
Action. So let's head over to the second portion of our show, the second half of the show, which is called the wind down, where we talk about articles and we talk headlines that interest us. I think that's better than last week.
That was really good. That was really good.
I'm gonna work on it. I think we'll say the wind down, where we talk about headlines. I'll figure it out, guys. Headlines, interesting headlines. How's that?
Yeah.
The wind down, where we talk about interesting headlines.
ESPN.
ESPN
will spice up a late season NBA game with an Avengers collaboration. What do you think that's going to look like?
LeBron James as Captain America.
Capitan America. You watching Falcon and Bucky?
I started. I watched the first episode already.
I'm excited. It was good.
Yeah.
I liked it. This again, we've talked about this on this show many a time. The nerd culture and the regular culture kind of just blending together.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that, the NBA is now doing Avengers themed nights is a weird fucking place for me to be in.
Yeah.
But I mean, more power to them. I guess, Disney owns part of ESPN, or don't they own all of ESPN?
They own ESPN.
Yeah, so I mean, it was bound to happen.
Yeah.
But I always like when you watch the sportscasters try their fucking goddamnedest to try to say some of the names correctly or to like bring them in. It's like, ooh, look at here, this Iron Man. And it's like, all right, buddy, I know you don't give a shit about my stuff, but that's okay.
It's interesting. It's interesting how there's still a gap between nerddom and sports. And I think it's kind of cool that they're going to kind of start mashing things. Now, me being part of both, I still think it's kind of weird that you're going to throw the Avengers into the NBA. That just does not sound right. Maybe they're going to do maybe the basketball is going to be like an Avengers thing. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. And you know what? the reality though is like if you get into sports, especially the stats, it is really nerdy.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, just the idea of this happening is just it's a weird world we live in.
What would you want baseball to collab with? That's a real question.
Oh, I don't know, dude. What would go good?
In like nerd culture
Yeah.
with baseball, huh?
Yeah.
I it's funny how I asked you that question, but yet I'm like,
And now, yeah.
and I'm asking that question to man, that's a good one. Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? I wouldn't be I don't think Disney owns the Angels anymore, right?
I don't think no. They don't.
I would like to. I wish they did, so that way we can see some Kingdom Hearts collab with the Angels.
God, Jesus.
That would have been cool. Like instead, like the bats look like the key rings or
Oh
something.
my God.
Or like the key sword. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts is one of those games. I've played the first 2 Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
I don't remember a fucking thing. I have
don't
no
either.
idea what happened. I think after I beat Kingdom Hearts 2, they had released a Game Boy game, or like it was not on an official console, and I was even at that point having trouble remembering what happened, and I asked this guy I used to work with who was just the biggest weeb, just the nerdiest dude, and he explained to me the Kingdom Hearts like story so far, and it was just. I was just like, what the hell are you? What are your words?
I have a buddy named Ray who loves Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, dude,
He loves Kingdom Hearts.
It's
And I
legit.
remember I hear him and I'm like, I don't remember a thing about that game. I remember beating both of them too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I don't know what the point of it was.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I know there was.
I remember the main character had a skateboard.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I remember when that game was first announced, and they were talking about like Square Enix and Disney are going to collaborate, and me and my friends thinking like, what the hell are they going to do?
Yeah.
Like what? That doesn't make any sense.
I remember it being fun.
I had a ton of fun.
Yeah, I had a ton of fun.
But I don't remember what the point was. You know, like
Yeah.
it was just it was what it was.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Hey, that's cool. I mean, the whole NBA thing, that'll be kind of cool,
We'll see-
and
yeah.
we'll see where it goes from
They'll
there,
have
right?
fun with that.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
all right.
Is the wife texting you already? Saying,
No, dude.
come home.
I'm getting a.
Come home.
I got a Discord message
Dude, Discord never stops.
from.
This is great podcasting, by the way.
Oh,
'cause
it's from the Jeff server.
oh,
Interesting.
uh,
We'll have to look at that later.
yeah.
Truth be told, I bought a smartwatch
Uh-huh.
because it measures the calories and like the steps and it
Yeah.
does all that. But I had it set up to get text, and I put Discord on here to like get messages because my cousin Clarissa was in town at the time. But
Yeah.
I might take that off because Discord messages can wait.
Discord messages.
If you guys take anything from that, Discord messages can wait.
Yeah.
Here's another good one. This is a good story. So finally, after
Hashtag
delays,
DC can wait.
yeah.
Yeah.
After delays, the U.S. government says that venue operators will finally be able to apply for relief money. I don't know why they haven't been able to apply for relief money.
I can't believe it's taken this long.
Right?
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think the entertainment industry has taken a major blow. And the fact that some parts of the entertainment industry are able to work again, but the fact that you're not able, that it took them this long to help music venues is unbelievable to me.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's no way to do a live venue right now, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to figure out some way to stay,
Yeah.
especially some of these more historic places
Yeah.
or places that are just important to the community. I mean, like, excuse me, like the Smell in downtown LA, like
Yep.
these are like places that are like kind of community hubs. So
Yeah.
the fact that it has now taken this long for them to get relief is frankly shocking. But I don't know, man. This whole time has been a fucking.
It's been crazy.
It's been crazy, man. But
that's
yeah,
kind of like I think they were saying, I maybe I'm tripping, but I could have sworn I heard that the ArcLight was closing down in LA.
you know what? The Cinerama Dome, I think, is closing down.
Oh, is that what it is? The
I think
Cinerama Dome?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, like stuff like that, that's crazy, man. Well, I and also a local venue here in the San Gabriel Valley is the Glass House.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think to myself, There's no way that place has been open. Like, what are they gonna do there?
Yeah.
Right? Chain Reaction, the Key Club. Well, the Key Club's been closed for a long time, but think of like the Roxy, the Whiskey a Go Go, like these historical landmarks in the music industry. Just, by the way, guys, we're just about to give you money. Like, that must be tough.
Yeah,
that must be tough. But I'm glad they are. I'm glad
they're getting relief.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can. I can't wait for live shows to come back, man.
Are you gonna go back this year? Or are you gonna wait?
I don't know, man. I might. It all depends. I have tickets in June for an outdoor festival, which I think would be better, but I don't know about. I mean, I guess it all just depends on the numbers, right?
Sure.
Every time I look at the numbers, they seem to be kind of going lower.
Yeah.
But who knows, man? Let's just hope. I'm gonna knock wood or somewhere. I'm gonna try and knock wood.
Yeah.
That was plastic, but I'll find wood somewhere.
It's all good. It's all good. I get you.
Yeah.
I get
so
you.
hopefully this will all end.
Yeah. Sooner than later, right?
Sooner rather than later, man. I cannot stress that enough. All right, here's another fun one. Here's a good one. As we all know, this past year, Eddie Van Halen passed away.
Yeah.
So Pasadena,
rock god,
guitar, just virtuoso, amazing. Yeah. Pasadena.
If there was a Mount Rushmore of guitar players for you, who would they be?
Oh man, that's a very difficult question.
I would say Eddie Van Halen, Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
Jimmy Page.
You can go Jimmy Page.
And
Mark Hoppus.
Well, no, you mean Tom DeLonge.
I would just put
Mark Hoppus. Yeah, Mark Hoppus. That's true. Because before you play bass, you got to play guitar.
That's right. Yeah. I hope that helicopter comes out on the recording.
It's probably Mark Hoppus.
It's probably Mark Hoppus.
Yeah.
Okay, so Eddie Van Halen passed away. Pasadena, it was his hometown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's kind of cool is that they're going to put a plaque up in his honor.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's good.
Only problem is they can't use his likeness, and apparently they can't even use the likeness of his famous Frankenstrat.
So what do you put on the plaque then?
Eddie.
Van Halen?
Just Van Halen? I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's not a celebration of the band.
Here's what it says. So for some reason, the Van Halen estate does not want Eddie Van Halen associated with Pasadena, even though he's from Pasadena, and the Van Halen estate will not let the city of Pasadena use any copyrighted images without paying them. The cost is too much for the city, even with the money that they've raised, because they've raised a bunch of money.
Okay. There has to be a reason.
There's got to be. I don't know what's going on with the band.
Does he hate Pasadena?
I can't see why.
Why would you hate Pasadena?
Yeah, Pasadena's nice.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city.
It's a nice city. Everyone's
friendly.
Everyone's friendly.
Yeah.
And he's from there. He went to PCC. I remember sitting in a room and thinking, like, Van Halen, they might have sat right here.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Although, that was really cool.
That was me in downtown Fullerton, Cal State Fullerton, because the great Gwen Stefani went there.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I'm sitting where Gwen Stefani sat.
It was a really cool story. At the school, at my school, the band director needed one time a sub for his period. So I'm like, I'll sub your sixth period, no problem. And I'm like, hey man, can I noodle around on your guitar? He had a guitar. He goes, hey, you want to see some cool stuff? I said, yeah. So he opens his guitar case, and it's an Ernie Ball, like a Van Halen type guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, it's cool. Like, it's just one of those. And he's like, you know who gave that to me? And I'm like, no, who? He goes, Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen. He goes, Eddie Van Halen played that guitar.
What?
He's like, they were doing a charity, and he came to the school, and he like riffed on that guitar.
Was this at PCC?
No, this is at Alhambra High.
Oh, okay.
And he because Alhambra has a really like a gorgeous like theater.
Uh-huh.
And I guess they did like a special there a couple of years ago.
Oh, that's
like,
awesome.
And he's like, so these two were hit, like, so have at it. And I was like, oh shit!
Wow,
like,
you got to rock a
I got to
guitar that Eddie Van Halen
did. Like,
that's
oh
awesome.
man, that was awesome. But
that's awesome.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that now. I don't want to get sued.
Yeah,
I might have to just bleep all that
I
out.
think so.
Boop. You know what else is coming?
What else?
That's
what she said.
The Kiss biopic. Renee, what is your opinion on Kiss?
If it's any better than Rocket Man, I'll be all right.
There you go.
Oh, but the band Kiss?
Band Kiss.
You know, it was a shtick that stuck with him, and it worked.
I've actually gotten into arguments. I feel like Kiss is the most overrated band of all time.
I don't want to say that, but you took the words right out of my mouth.
I'm not hating on them in terms of like the songs they write are fine. Obviously, the shtick works. Yeah. The fucking stage show, a 10. But am I really gonna put on Black Diamond? Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Detroit Rock City was a great movie.
Detroit Rock City was a great movie.
Yeah.
Am I gonna listen to the soundtrack?
Probably not.
Probably not. With the exception of course, God Gave Rock and Roll to Me.
Well,
which is
hold on. That was
jam.
That was a Wild Stallion song.
That was that a
that was
right.
a Wild Stallion song. Come on.
But I remember being in Vegas with a group of friends and just belting that out. But I mean, dude, I guess I would want to see where Kiss came from and just kind of watch that. But again, like I don't know. Maybe it's a generational thing. I had the guy I got into an argument with, or one of the guys, this was a more friendly, he goes, you got to understand, man, in the 70s, nothing looked like that.
Yeah.
I was like, I get you. Yeah, I get you.
What do you think, what are some of your favorite music-related biopics? Bohemian Rhapsody, I think, is definitely up there.
See, I haven't seen Bohemian
That's
Rhapsody.
a great one. Straight Outta Compton, I think, is
Straight Outta Compton?
Great.
I mean, La Bamba.
La Bamba was great, too. Yeah, La Bamba. The movie that I actually thought was really, was pretty good. The plot was very interesting, too, was Yesterday, the Beatles one. The one that just came out last year,
not a
the year
biopic,
before.
but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, not a biopic, but just the premise of the film was awesome.
The premise of the film was very interesting.
Yeah. So for you guys who don't know, Yesterday is a movie based on the music of the Beatles, where a guy wakes up one day and he wakes up to a world where the Beatles never existed.
Yeah.
So he's the only one in the world that knows who the Beatles are. So he takes their music and uses it for himself.
Like you do.
Like you do. Honestly, dude, if you were the only person that woke up one day and just nobody knew who the Beatles were, you wouldn't take all that?
You would have to.
In a heartbeat. So
I wonder, though, do you think nowadays, I mean, those songs are classic and timeless, but if they came out now, I wonder.
Well, that's the beauty. You got to watch the movie.
I got to watch the movie. Okay.
Yeah. If you should watch Yesterday, and I'll go watch Justice League.
That's not fair. I wouldn't do that to you.
Well, okay. How about you watch That Thing You Do? Because I can watch that.
That Thing You Do. Now that's a good
might
one.
Be. That might be my top 3, man.
That Thing You Do is I fucking love that movie. I could watch that movie over and over
again. I've seen it over and over again, and Shayla says again.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to put this on again. It's like, it's just in the background.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, we're just watching it. It's like, how do you
can't
that
not
movie?
watch it. Yeah.
She does not like the ending of the movie. She does not. She goes, I do not want the movie to end the way it did as a love story. And I was like, but they're happy. Like, that's the idea. She goes, no, it should have just ended with them breaking up and that was it. I was like, no, where's the ending to the movie?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be a happy ending, and she doesn't like it. She does not like the ending of That Thing You Do.
Glutton for punishment.
I guess so.
Let's wrap it up. This is the last story.
Okay, let's wrap it up here.
Michael
That's what
Keaton
she said.
Will return as Batman in The Flash.
Say less.
Michael Keaton in The Flash as Batman.
Say less.
Michael Keaton Batman?
Say less is just a way for someone to say, I'm in. You don't have to finish all that for me
Are you trying to say no more?
No, say less is the new slang.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Say, like, if I were to tell you, bro, let's get some pizza, say less. I'm there. Like, let's go.
Okay.
That's what that means.
All right. Well, now I've learned something new.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I thought Michael Keaton was a fucking amazing Batman.
He was an
dude.
amazing Batman. Now, here's the real question. Who was the best Joker?
Mark Hamill.
There was no hesitation. There wasn't.
No.
But the problem there, though, Jose, is that you have 4 amazing actors who played that role so well. It's so hard to pick. Each one of them is so different. Mark Hamill as the Joker is nothing like Jack Nicholson's or Joaquin Phoenix.
You're right. No,
Heath Ledger's.
And I agree with you. However, this is why I picked Mark Hamill. When you're reading a comic book, what voice does the Joker have?
That's Mark Hamill.
It has Mark
You're
Hamill's
absolutely
voice.
right. Damn, you got me.
Like it's like
You're right.
When he's talking in my brain, it's Mark Hamill's voice.
Yeah.
It's that weird, and then with the exception of Jack Nicholson, who maybe Mark Hamill was doing a weird version of that.
Yeah.
Everyone does some weird thing where, like, Mark Hamill talked about how he's like, when the Joker talks, he's got like a weird sort of British accent, but not really.
Yeah.
And then like like Heath Ledger would do this weird kind of like timbre thing with his voice, and then Joaquin Phoenix was
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Not so much a timbre thing with his voice, but fucking just they all just talk in a weird way.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
And then Heath Ledger with just like all that movement, the mouth movement, his lip, like his tongue. Like, I don't know if you remember, but when Heath Ledger was doing his Joker character, he would constantly move his tongue around.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just like, man, that's so. Do you remember when The Dark Knight came out? I remember leaving that movie like, oh my god, this fucking movie is amazing.
I remember this. I remember they announced Heath Ledger as the Joker. I remember I was like, what?
Yeah.
Fucking Knight's Tale guy?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
I remember they released a teaser trailer that was just the Bat logo.
Yeah.
And at
with
the very
him talking, right?
It was just them talking,
Yeah.
but at the very end, you hear him laugh, and me just going, "Oh,
yeah,
shit!" And then that final trailer where you finally see him, and then just me going, "Fuck!" I think they've done it.
Yeah.
And then leaving that theater, fucking amazed.
Yeah.
And can I tell you a fun story about fucking
You can always tell me fun stories about.
And that we're running along, but I'm gonna. This is a great one. We snuck Shankar into that movie. We did not have a ticket. Because we went to the midnight release.
Sure.
So we snuck him in, and it was fucking sold out. And we somehow got this. This was this great moment where it was the Sears crew, but the entire Sears crew, like there was like 18 of us. We all got tickets and we snuck a couple people in. And this fucking dude, we were trying to do this thing where it's like, hey, like people leave seats in between them. It's like, hey, would you mind getting up and moving over so we can all fit and sit next to each other?
Yeah.
And this one guy was like, no, I have my ticket. I'm not moving. And I remember I got up in front of the thing. I said, listen, guys, my friend's here. He bought a ticket. He wasn't able to make it on time, and he just came in. He bought a ticket. In America, if you buy a ticket, you get to see the show. So can we please just move over? And the guy,
you said this?
I said this to this.
Yeah.
So everyone was like, dude, just fucking move over. So the guy was like, fine. He gets up and moves over, just so Shankar could sit on the floor because he didn't have a seat. He was fucking sold out. And I felt terrible, but at the same time, it's like, well, what
you did it. Yeah, I got you.
I do not condone sneaking into theaters anymore. Please go to movies so I can go to movies again.
Yeah, please do. There was that movie. I think The Dark Knight is one of. I know we're going long. Sorry, but The Dark Knight to me is not a superhero movie.
No, it transcends it.
It transcends it, dude. And I remember when Heath Ledger passed away. Man, it sucks, right, to hear how it happened and all that stuff. But God, that role just. I was like, dude, like it this might be kind of weird to say, but if you're gonna go, what a way to go. Leaving that mark is what I'm saying. Leaving that sort of role, leaving that mark, and that's the last thing people remember you for. Like, fuck, that was awesome.
And it
It's
legitimized.
tragic, obviously, super tragic. I don't, it sucks that he, it's horrible. But
No.
to leave a mark the way you did, that way, like it is pretty insane.
And dude, legitimizing that, basically that kind of a role, right? The supervillain, kind of making the superhero movie like legit movie, right?
Yep.
He won an Oscar for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie, I can watch that movie over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't even think of it as a superhero movie.
No.
Yeah.
I agree.
The Dark Knight Rises was kind of, I liked it.
I liked it too.
It wasn't as good. But again, I think when you make a film like The Dark Knight, I think,
Yeah.
it's difficult to
get
to the next level. Come on, if you think about it, how are you going to top The Dark Knight? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I liked it, but The Dark Knight was on a whole nother
I think
level.
people forget about Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises because The Dark Knight shits all over. And they're a great film that Christopher Nolan's a badass.
Oh, dude, the Christopher Nolan Batmans were amazing.
Yeah. Jose, where can people find us on the internet?
All right, guys, if you want your one-stop Half Step Down shop, go to halfstepdownpod.com. You're going to find links to all our social media, all of our episodes. Everything is there for your viewing and listening pleasure. If you are on Instagram, you can follow us at halfstepdownpod. We are on Instagram and Twitter. We will post. It will happen. You can check out the stories on Instagram to see previews of the playlist that I'll talk about in just a second. You can go to facebook.com/halfstepdownpod and find our information there. Go to youtube.com and look up Half Step Down Pod in the search bar. If we can get 100 subscribers, we can get a custom URL, and you won't have to search for us every time. We have a link to a Spotify playlist in the description of this episode. We're going to be adding some study songs. We have some songs back from our 420 episode. We got lots of cool stuff on there, so please check it out and listen there. If you like what you hear, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, and help spread the word using #HalfStepDownPod and #RoadTo100. And finally, every Thursday night, 7 p.m., TitanRadio.org, you've got Half Step Down Radio with Renee here.
Just for a few weeks, actually. A few more weeks to go.
Few more weeks,
and then summer break.
All right.
Yeah, and then hopefully I'll come back in the fall.
There it is.
But there's going to be a lot of lo-fi on our playlist this week.
That for sure.
A lot of lo-fi. Not much to talk about except just stick out there for the lo-fi. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good one. So good luck on everyone's finals. If you guys are taking finals, if you guys are teachers, good luck on handing out your finals. And Jose, I will see you next time. And everybody take care.
Take it easy.
Yeah, give it up for these guys. I promise you guys.
Just so we're all clear, that was not like a real song. Okay. Made that up.